Okay, episode four, back on with AV Consulting's podcast and the search engine marketing. Today we're going to dive into conversion rate optimization. It's a scary term. A lot of people hear it, especially business owners. The question is whether you need it or not. You probably need it. If not, you want to grow to a point where this question does become important. But let's just dissect the term first. Conversion rate optimization. What does conversion mean?
Conversion means user comes to your website, do a desirable action. It could be filling a form, clicking on your phone number, watching a video, downloading a PDF, or anything that you think it's valuable for your business in the process of a user's becoming client.
So basically, in layman's term, it's a lead. If you're a lead gen, for you, conversions mean form submits, click to calls, click to emails. Some are harder, some are softer. If you're a more software service provide business, could mean download a PDF file. It's major events on your website that's right before the point of sale or at the point of sale. Obviously, if you're e-commerce website, okay, a conversion means a sale. If your lead generation, conversion means form submits. If you offer, I don't know, online materials, it's download a file or selling a online course. They're major events on your website. Let's jump on the rate optimization part.
Mhm.
Where does
So
that come in?
to make it easy, if your website getting 10 clicks a day and 10 users comes to your website, and out of those 10 people, one of those convert or do the desirable action on your website, which is filling the form or clicking on the phone call. uh, Rate conversion rate optimization is improving that one to number more than one, 1.5 out of 10 do a desirable action, two people out of 10 doing a desirable action. This increasing number doing a huge difference in big website with big users and small improvement on the website that have less clicks, but still is very important for the business because all the efforts you're doing to bring those 10 people, and if none of those for different reason that which we may touch today, not doing the desirable action is like wasting your time and money. So one important action is to increase the number of clicks to your website. A second one, which could be more important, that the rate of those number of clicks to convert uh, become bigger and bigger.
Yeah, so essentially, it has a butterfly effect. Yes, if we convert one or two or three more persons a month into sale or into a query, it may not mean a much, but compounding that over 12 month period, 2 years period, half a decade period, it's probably a 20-30% growth. And most businesses we're always dealing with in increments of numbers. There's no such thing as a unless you're a startup and it gains momentum quickly and you can scale quickly. For most businesses, growing is a very incremental process. Is focusing on the minutia to make it that much more easier to sell and attract clients. In this instance, we're discussing what our users doing on your website. What can we make? How can we make that rate of conversion slightly higher and a little higher over time? And this is where conversion rate optimization comes in. Essentially, how are we optimizing your website so that there is every chance of a user who is in your target market is going to convert, whether that's lead form, click to calls, download a form, buying an e-commerce product, etc., etc. Now let's jump onto why it matters. I think I just covered that briefly, but basically why it mattered because improving CRO, that's the acronym for conversion rate optimization, can lead to more revenue without spending more on ads or attracting more traffic. Basically, this is about everybody is at some point will be paying pay per click. Regardless of what happens to that traffic, you have to pay that to Google someone anyway. So we want to ensure that that money you've paid is well spent. What do you think?
Yeah, exactly. We already covered it, and that means you get more efficiency out of those people who, for different reason, decided to click on your ads or organically come to your site because they expecting that they find a solution for their problem. Now that they are in your website, you have to do some certain things that make sure those people become a potential client for you, uh, completing a lead form or doing something else. So that's the importance.
So basically, CRO is about getting more value from your current traffic. Simple examples are small tweaks to a website design or the copy can lead to a higher percentage of visitors converting. Now, obviously, a better checkout process for e-commerce e-commerce clients, customers, and can reduce cart abandonment rates and increase sales. Key steps here in CRO, again, that's the acronym for conversion rate optimization, is to understand your visitors' behavior and pain points. This is where web analytics comes in. Seeing things, seeing what you're doing on your website with and writing a cohesive story about it. That's basically bias free. Test different strategies. A/B testing, more commonly known. See what works best and what doesn't for your audience. What landing pages can slightly increase engagement? What landing pages don't do that? And continuously improve. There's no silver
Yeah.
bullet here, essentially.
So, yeah, now that we know the understanding the importance of CRO, we're going to mention, as Fab mentioned, some things that make it more understandable what would be the action to do that to improve CRO. First of all, you have to make the journey from coming to your website to landing pages, category pages, to finally either purchase something or completing a lead form seamless, easy, enjoyable for the users. There are some rules, for example, for a shopping usual normal Shopify website. It's a 3 clicks to check out. If you make the journey from finding the proper products to then checking out with all the addresses, information, payment, make it easier, you increase the chance of getting more clients. And it could be many easy things. So for example, if during the journey, if you have to choose between your address, is it in the city or rural area, or some other options for your delivery service, and pass it to the client, makes it difficult for them to understand if your address is what kind of money you have to pay for delivery. But if it's some customer CRO conversion rate optimization, you include that technology behind the scene, and you calculate the delivery costs for the clients and not pass it to the clients to understand, to choose between based on your address. It's one of the examples that you can improve and make your customer journey easier.
Yeah, so just to make things a bit more clear for the listeners, now we leapfrogged into user experience because conversion optimization inevitably leads to user experience. What does user experience means in a nutshell? Of course, you can hire very expensive people who justify their cost by improving user experience, but it just means ensuring your customer journey on your website is as easy and as short as possible. The example you noted, rates and rural address, etc. If you can do something to ensure they don't have to that they can think less and just put their payment details and complete their purchase without having to thoroughly think about their address, whether am I rural, urban, etc. Well, it's going to make a substantial difference in your bottom line.
Can I share my personal experience
Yeah, of course,
recently?
right.
Recently, I had to book a ferry between Wellington and Picton. There are two options.
This is in
Inter
New Zealand for people who,
yeah,
who are
yeah,
living
there's
outside of New Zealand.
Inter Islander and Blue Bridge.
Mm.
Blue Bridge is a um, private owned, and Inter Islander is a government owned. And I have a dog, so I have to choose like how many people and if I have a pet or not, and then the kind of car I have is an SUV, caravans, or a sedan. Uh, just this example of being user friendly is there was a particular question for Blue Bridge that how many meters is the length of your car, and I had no idea. Is it 5 meters, 6 meters? I have to go out and measure the car. That single question put me off because I had to answer that question. I didn't know what's the consequence of not being exactly right.
Mm.
But the other company make it like is like SUV. I know it depends on the business. Maybe the length of your car, you calculate how many more cars you can fit it.
Mm.
I know, but you have to do those hard part at the back end,
Yeah.
not pass it to the client. So small things like that can improve the conversion rate for your website.
Absolutely, and the honest truth behind this is that obviously the more budget you have, the bigger marketing team, research, UX specialist, more you can spend on experience to get this right the first time around. But for most businesses who are growing or still growing, and budget from is still constrained, it is very much a bring in the data, see what it suggests, improve it minusculely, path ahead. There's I mean, there are obvious wrong things to
Yeah.
do, but there's a lot of guessing and educated experience guessing involved, seeing what users do when the rubber meets the road, and timely and quite quickly adapt your website accordingly.
Good point. You should never assume that doing something improve your CRO. You always have to test. There are tools, heat map tools, the correct heat map tools, like Hotjar. You have to observe, record the action of your clients on the website.
Mm.
We've done it in the past for different clients. So if you see like 30 people going to pages of your website and in one page they're confused, they're going up, down, finding for a call to action, finding for the forms, you understand that that page needs to be improved. Combine it with the data analysis, data that you have on your GA4,
Mm.
that so many people drop on this particular page, you see something wrong with that page or that question or one question among so many other questions on that page.
Mm.
So it's very important that you test every assumption you have. Call it A/B testing. You can make a change. For example, bring a call to action upper on the page and divide 50% of your traffic to that page and 50% to other page and compare the conversion rate of those pages.
Yeah.
And then you make sure that for sure we have enough data to prove that this change will help us improve our conversion rate.
Now, for listeners, this may sound a little scary. It's not, to be honest, just getting used to it. Obviously, if you have a team, you have marketers, you have web analytics people, UX behind you, they'll do this. If not, either case, just get quite familiar with J4, the user behavior on your site. The first 10, 20 times you go onto it, yeah, I know it's an alien environment, but at some point those numbers start to make sense. And the better you know the behavior of your business, and these days it's mostly what users doing digitally on your website and other platforms that you're on, the better you can make decisions in the future, because that is really reflective of your customer journey, where you can where you can beef things up, where you can improve, and where you can invest more money in. At the end of the day, we're talking about getting more business with equal or less advertising spend. Or when we grow advertising spend, each increase in growth is equals to more equal or more growth in sales, not less.
Yeah. Yeah. My last point is you're absolutely right. Those confusing thing about A/B testing, heat map tools. That's for e-commerces. For smaller businesses like service businesses, there are some rules that already been proven,
Yeah.
like having a call to action above the fold, like having a hero text that attract people, like get easy access to the phone numbers, simpler forms. So if you have those experience, even without testing anything or spending or try and error anything that uh, takes time and money, that experience that we have from the previous businesses can help you quickly make some fixes on your website.
And we are from CRO to user experience because it inevitably leads to improvements to user experience. To be honest, a lot of times, especially for small businesses, you probably don't need to reinvent the wheel. Look at how your successful competitors have done it. That looks, obviously some can be quite successful and have really shitty websites, but most have great user experience or acceptable ones. And and emulate their user experience, their call to actions, because chances are they've questioned what you're questioning right now. They've done some testing, and they've probably reached better results based on where they are right now, and how the user experience on their website is um, currently. So yeah, I mean, try not to reinvent the wheel as much as you can, especially if budget's more constrained, resources are a bit more constrained, and you're still in the growing phase.
Cool.
Yeah. Just some quick points here. Basically, a user experience keeps visitors more engaged and more likely to complete a desired action. So mostly sales in this case. Page speed is quite important. That does bow into user experience. So if it's slow, people are gonna get frustrated pretty quickly and go to someone else who has a better site. Mobile responsiveness, everybody, like we discuss every day, but yeah, I mean, design mobile first, I think, these days now. People are going to at least touch base with you first on their phones and then perhaps make the purchasing decisions on their computer or PC or bigger computers. So, mobile first design, I think, is very important. And overall, I suppose the easier it is for the visitor to take an action, the higher your conversion rate will be. Next, we can move on to UX writing. Discuss UX writing. Basically, um, copies on a site that focuses on words that guides users through your customer journey. What do you think about
that? I guess we have always discussion about this on different cases.
Yeah, I don't always agree on this, but it's not an exact science.
Yeah,
reasonable men can agree on this. Can disagree on this, Robert?
Yeah. So, personal experience and the knowledge that is out there is new generation, especially. It depends on what kind of business you have, but people have been getting less and less attention, and they getting bored reading long things. So you have to send your message easy, quick. Personal experience, that bigger paragraphs become smaller, bullet points, exact advantage, especially for services, like not even products, So if I buy this camera compared to this camera, what advantage it has? Like it has a better quality, easier to work, blah, 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 free delivery or something. All the advantage should be very easy, understandable, above the fold. Details could be talked about if somebody want to do more research before choosing a service or product. But the main points, that decisive points, should be very easy to access and find.
Yeah, I mean, I would just add that, I mean, I completely agree with that. And I would just also add that, the copies and the user interface do not develop and exist in silos. They have to complement each other. And obviously, there is a problem at this age where people to be honest, don't read enough, don't concentrate enough, don't focus enough. And digital marketing probably encourages the worst behaviors in terms of attention spans. But that's the world we live in. It's a different conversation. But if for the purpose of this, I would just add that, addressing pain points and benefits in your copies earlier on the page, it's far better. And the psychology of that is quite clear. if you're if people convert earlier in the page, it means they're quite educated on the topic, on the service. They're just at the purchasing stage, and if they scroll further down, obviously you need to convince them more. Either they don't trust you, they don't know your brand, they don't know what they're looking for, or a combination of three. So that's why more and more copies come in handy further down the page. FAQ sections, such as FAQ sections, reviews, stuff that require quite bulky, that requires a lot of content. But overall, the most eloquent sentences, the most impeccable speeches are done with fewer words. So more articulation, to the point, addressing pain points and benefits is far more purposeful than just going rambling on forever about how great you are. Yeah, some points, but this is about the customer, not about the business, not about you. This is about the customer and how you can make their problems in life easier.
Exactly, exactly. And the things that you always mention, the tones, like if you're talking about tech, different tones to people talking about like painting, electrician, you have to understand the clients and the way they usually get the information, how it's easier for them to understand.
Yeah, actually, sorry, I'll just expand on that too. Obviously, if you're providing a service or a product that requires a lot of involvement, i.e., you buy it once a year or once every few years, or the transaction cost quite high, it requires a lot of commitment from your customer. Therefore, you got to build a lot more trust. Whereas if it's a service that's lower commitment, if it doesn't work out, their life is not going to break apart, i.e., sometimes in the trades, then those instances requires less copy. But in some other instances, multi-million-dollar engineering deals, yeah, it would probably justify more copies, more thinking into what goes into that page.
Yeah.
I suppose that's pretty much it. But I mean, we could ramble on about this forever, but we already touched on some quite nerdy stuff. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it. Did you have anything else to add?
I think we talk about CRO in general, and viewers will understand what is it, what kind of examples help improve CRO. But if they want to do improvement on their website, there are so many materials on YouTube, Google, they can search it. Or if they don't have a time or need people to help them, like, you can always reach out. We can answer your question, we can write a question underneath, we answer it, or we can help you improve your website CRO.
Yeah, so let us know if you have any questions. Happy to offer something that's helpful. Suppose this is AV Consulting.
Yeah.
Let's do something great together. Yeah, it's our usual motto. Thanks for listening,
Great.
guys.
Thank you.
Cheers.